Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be returning to Upfront because I've had a couple of queries about the nature of discards and specifically discards that you play on your opponent. So I'm just going to run through the options for these because they can be a bit varied. Now, as you all know, each nationality has its own rules regarding its discard limit in relation to its hand size and the number of actions that it can take. And most of the time when you discard a card, it's usually because you're stuck for something you can do, or there's an utterly useless card which is just clogging up your hand and you just need to get a change. Now, most of these are simply to help you refresh your hand and keep the game moving, give you some new options. But there is, of course, the scope in the game for you to play something thoroughly unpleasant on your opponent. And these are the, I'll call them the hostile discards, because it's you're deliberately chucking a card out of your hand to mess your opponent up. So the first thing to make clear is this is not an action. This is not a card that you are employing a group's action to play on the enemy. It happens during your discard phase. And I'll talk about the three broad types that you get. I mean, really, it's two broad types, but I'll separate them out. So you can play terrain cards on your opponent through a discard. And you can also play a sniper card, or more if the rules allow it, as a discard as well. So let me start by looking at terrain. Generally speaking, there is nothing to stop you discarding regular terrain of any kind on your opponent. Why you would want to give them the option of a building, I do not know, but stranger things have happened. In some cases, there are good reasons for this. So let's say that a unit with a heavy machine gun is advancing on my position. I want to ensure that they don't have a clear shot at me because they're still at, say, relative range 2 or 3. If I play a gully on them and they choose not to reject it, then they are stuck without a line of sight for their heavy weapon. Now, they may well reject it. They may well turn their movement card sideways for lateral movement, or if they're already moving laterally, they might turn it into a retreat. But the fact is, by discarding this on them, I've potentially messed up their plans. And the same goes for any other kind of terrain that you might choose to play on someone. Now, the one type of terrain you cannot play as a discard upon an enemy is a cower card, either by playing a card on its reverse side, or I should say discarding a card on its reverse side as an open ground card. Similarly, you cannot discard a cower card, whether it's an actual cower card or a scenario-defined one on your opponent. So, except in the pillbox scenario, in most other upfront scenarios, the pillbox functions only as a cower card. So that's not something that you can discard upon your opponent. But really, that's the only golden rule. Effectively, you cannot discard cower cards or open ground upon an enemy. Any other type of terrain, broadly speaking, goes. Temporary terrain. There's two types of temporary terrain. There's smoke and there's wire. Now, smoke you can only play on your own side, and you can't play it as a discard, so that's a bit of a moot question. Wire cards are always played as a discard. So you can play this on any of your opponent's group if you're eligible to make groups if you're eligible to make a discard on that turn. And these I won't go into what wire cards do because I've covered that in other videos, but just to say that they are nasty, and sometimes it's actually worth not taking any actions depending on your nationality, because you can seriously hold up an enemy advance by playing one of these on them. So that's all the various terrain type cards that you can discard upon your opponent. The very last one is an interesting element in this game. It's called the sniper card. Now, of course, the snipers, as we know, are not represented in the infantry squad cards in Upfront. They're very much an abstracted entity. and they come into play through the use of the sniper card. So these are discards only. You can't play them in any other fashion. And the way in which they work is you start by determining which person in the target group they're aiming at. And you do this through a simple random position check. Ignore the color of the RPC. Once you've done that, you then check to see whether you have pinned or killed your target. Now this can be influenced by the play of concealment cards, so you know, your sniper could have a hard time, but if they don't, it's a great way of getting rid of a random member of the enemy squad. So once that's played, regardless of the outcome, the sniper stays next to the targeted group as a reminder that a sniper attack has been made. On the enemy player's turn, the player who was victimized by the sniper attack can decide whether they want their group to respond to that attack or to perform another action. If they perform another action, the sniper card is simply removed. It's just deemed that they came under fire from the sniper, but they decided they had something better to do, or more important to do, rather than try to take him out. If they go for counter-attacking as an option, it's a group action, they draw a random number. If it's a black random number and it is higher than the random number check the sniper drew for the attack outcome, then the sniper is eliminated. So yes, just to be clear, leave the sniper card next to the targeted group, but also leave, unless you've got a very good memory, the random number card that was drawn as well, just for confirmation of the value that the target group has to beat in order to get rid of the card. And that's it, really. So hostile discards, or if I can phrase it a different way, dumping on your opponent, is actually quite straightforward. Basically, it comes down to most of the regular terrain, not open ground, wire cards, and sniper cards. Those are the cards that you can discard onto your opponent at the end of your turn if you're eligible to make a discard. So I hope that's answered all the various questions that I mean, I only had 3 or 4 concerning this, but it was just I don't think some of my videos were all that clear on this point, and I think I was taking that part of the game's procedure for granted. So if you do have any further questions about discarding in general or the upfront system in particular, please do leave me a message, leave a comment, and I will do my best to address them. But in the meantime, I hope this has covered everything. To all my veterans and my upfront grognards, of course, a huge hello to you. I hope this has proven useful. To be honest, most of you guys probably don't need this video, but to those of you who asked for this brief bit of coverage, as I say, I hope that's answered your questions. Thank you for waiting for me. I realize it's taken me a while to get around to actually making this video, and I hope it has helped. As ever, thank you very much for tuning in. I really appreciate your company on these things, and I hope I'll see you all again soon. If not, because it is that time of year, may I wish you all a very happy Christmas, and above all, happy gaming. Catch you on the next video, chaps. Bye.